Hi, and welcome back to yet another video. This is the 9th episode of the story about the time when Naruto had would release. Let's watch how Naruto takes world by storm. After you've finished watching, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. It had been 4 days since Naruto's arrival back in Konoha with Yugito. Life in Konoha did not change since Yugito's arrival, nor did she get treated weirdly by any of the Konoha populace. Even with her Kumo background, it seemed Naruto's reputation superseded any bad stigma that attached itself to her. Even in the all-seeing eyes of the Hyuga clan. Being well-received and famous had its perks. Being in a relationship had its perks as well, and Naruto took advantage of it every day since Yugito's arrival. Even right now, as Yugito was getting dressed in Naruto's room. She was putting the finishing touches on her outfit when she noticed Naruto coming into the room. "Naruto-kun, are you ready to go to the gate?" asked Yugito, turning around to see Naruto. "Naruto-kun, we can't do that right now, we'll be late." Naruto stood in the doorway of his bedroom, dressed in only a helmet and a shield with nothing else on. "To the gate?" said Naruto before it dawned on him. "Oh yeah. That's today, huh? Well, shoot. I worked hard on this outfit. I got the helmet, shield, and obviously a sword," said Yugito suggestively while wrapping a hand around Naruto's sword. "I think we have a few minutes to spare." At the village gate, 10 minutes later, "Where the hell is Naruto?" questioned Tsunade as she stood impatiently at the gate. Lounging on the outer gate walls, reading his orange book, was Kakashi. Kakashi was actually on time today due to Tsunade telling him to be at the gate 4 hours earlier, prompting him to arrive still 5 minutes late even with a 4-hour grace period. "I'm sure he'll be here, Hokage-sama. Don't worry," said Kakashi as he lazily flipped a page in his book. "He's actually coming right now. And just on time too, because they're approaching." Naruto and Yugito appeared via sunshine as they landed next to the busty Kage and Elite Jonin. "Present and accounted for, Bachan," said Naruto, dressed in his standard Konoha attire complete with his flak jacket. Yugito stood next to Naruto in simply a blue, V-neck shirt with black pants and black sandals on. "Good morning, Hokage Ono. It seems we weren't late, thankfully," said Yugito with a smile as Tsunade smiled back at the young blonde girl. "Good morning to you too, Yugito-chan and Brat. Glad to see you both make it. I was a little worried there," said Tsunade as she looked out toward the path to see several figures approaching Konoha. "Look sharp now, here they come. And Naruto, why do you have a helmet on?" Naruto turned red as he grabbed the helmet off his head and flung it out of sight and out of mind into the bushes. About a minute later, the group that was approaching Konoha finally made contact. Hello. Welcome to Konoha. I am Konoha's goddamn Hokage, Senju Tsunade," said Tsunade, extending a hand to who she deemed as the most important in the group that arrived. "Maid Ono, it's a pleasure to finally make your acquaintance." Mei happily placed a hand out to shake with Tsunade as she smiled at the blonde Hokage in front of her. "The pleasure is all mine, Tsunade Dono. I'm just happy that you extended this alliance offer to us in Kirigakure. And for that, on behalf of Kiri and myself, as its goddamn Mizukage, Water Shadow, I thank you." Mei was a beautiful, slender woman. She has green eyes, and ankle-length, auburn hair styled into a herringbone pattern at the back, a top knot tied with a dark blue band, and 4 bangs at the front. She wears a long-sleeved, dark blue dress that falls just below the knees. Underneath, she wears mesh armor that covers slightly more of her upper body than her dress. To complete her outfit, she wears high-heeled sandals, dark blue polish on her fingers and toes with matching blue lipstick. "Can you say MILF?" said Naruto, hearing Kurama say MILF in his head at Mei's beauty. "And I believe those are double D's she's sporting, damn it. Jiraiya-sensei's teachings are still in my head," thought Naruto in his head as he looked over Mei in an unnoticeable manner due to Yugito standing right beside him. "Your maid is attractive in her own ways, but that human is downright beautiful. Even I can see this. I'd kill her so hard," said Kurama as Naruto internally nodded his head at the comment. "I hear you on that. I'd kill her so hard too if I wasn't in a relationship." "Wait, kill her? Never mind," replied Naruto in his head as he stopped internally talking to see the rest of Mei's contingent begin greeting Tsunade, Kakashi, and Yugito. With Mei were a group of 4 people, 2 of which Naruto recognized immediately upon seeing. The first being one of the legendary 7 swordsmen, Momochi Zabuza. Zabuza still looked the same since when Naruto first met him, except he now had on the standard flak jacket of Kiri with a shirt on underneath. Zabuza still lugged around his Kubi Karabocho on his back, and his ever-present ninja face was still on and just as menacing as when Naruto first met him. The second person Naruto recognized in the contingent of maize was the even more beautiful Haku. Haku was the hunter nin who accompanied Zabuza on Naruto's first C-rank mission to Wave. Haku grew slightly over the 4 years since seeing Naruto, now standing at a height of 5 foot 5 inches tall. She was wearing her long black hair loosely, and wore a pink, sleeveless kimono, with pale red edges and decorated with small plum-colored swirls, that went to her ankles. Around her waist was a simple white obi tied in a bow, and she wore a pair of light brown sandals with dark straps. She also wore a dark-colored choker around her neck, and her Kiri forehead protector could be seen on her right arm, around her bicep. Damn. Can you say you know what? Never mind. I think you get the point. Haku's hot and without her chest bindings on ICC Cup Sarg. Why was that the first thing Jiraiya-sensei taught me? Thought Naruto perversely as he eyed Haku as well, still unnoticeable by those around him. Hey, doesn't it seem weird to you though? Questioned Kurama in Naruto's head. After getting a what from his Jinchuriki, Kurama decided to elaborate. All of the most beautiful women in the world seem to be some of the strongest kunoikas in the world as well. I mean, face it, Yugito and Tsunade are powerful, and I'm certain these two are as well. But that girl from the crypto analysis group, Shiho, is not a dime as you would call it, and definitely one of the weakest kunoikas I've seen. That's cold, Kurama, but that is weird, isn't it? It must be a conspiracy or something, replied Naruto in his head before he was nudged by Yugito, stopping his internal conversation with Kurama. Naruto-kun. Are you not going to shake his hand? Questioned Yugito as Naruto looked over to see the other two members of Kiri's group with their hands extended. Naruto nodded his head before extending a hand out to the two others with Mei. Sorry about that. I was lost in my head in contemplation. I'm Naruto, said Naruto, shaking the first guy's hand. It's no worries. I'm Chojuro, said the now known Chojuro. Chojuro was a ninja of seemingly the same age as Naruto. Chojuro has short, tufty blue hair, and dark eyes. He also has pointed, shark-like teeth. He wears square, black-rimmed glasses connected to ear protectors, a blue pinstriped shirt, and camouflage pattern pants. Also, he wears his forehead protector on the front of his holster, which he uses to carry Harankare. Naruto noticed the shark-like teeth of Chojuro and the sword on his back and perked up at the two traits. You're a member of the Seven Swordsmen of the Mist? Questioned Naruto excitedly at that prospect. Chojuro fidgeted slightly at Naruto's question. Well, yes. I am one of the Seven Swordsmen, and this is my blade, Harankare, said Chojuro, though you could tell from just that one sentence that he was a timid individual. Well, that's cool. I'd love to spar with you someday during your stay here. It'd be fun to see what you could do, said Naruto with a smile that Chojuro awkwardly nodded back to and attempted to reciprocate. The man standing next to Chojuro shook his head at the actions that just proceeded. Kids these days have no respect for their elders. I mean, back in my day, we used to shake hands with the elder shinobi first before shaking hands with the younger ones, as a sign of respect, said the man before seeing Naruto extend his hand toward him. My apologies, sir, but I do actually recognize you. You're a member of Kiri's Onbu Hunter Nin Division and one of the heroes of the war against Yagura. Ow, if I'm not mistaken. It's a pleasure to meet you, said Naruto as Ao looked impressed at the young man before him. My, it seems the younger generation does have a few good ninjas. It's good that you know your history. But then again, information is one of a ninja's best tools, and I'm certain you know that, said Ao as Naruto nodded his head. While Naruto was talking with Chojuro and Ao, Yugito walked over to Haku and began to engage her in conversation. Hi, I'm Yugito, said Yugito as she held a hand out for Haku to shake, which Haku shook in kind. Nice to meet you, Yugito-san. I'm Yuki Haku. I've heard so much about you from Naruto-kun's letters. Yugito arched an eyebrow at that as Haku put up placating hands. No, it's nothing like that. Naruto was mainly the go-between me and another ninja, but I did ask him about his life and you were at the head of it. He's quite into you. Is he really? Questioned Yugito as Haku reached into the backpack that she held. I have the letters with me. Want me to read what he said? Questioned Haku with a small smirk as Yugito nodded her head jovially. While all this was going on, Mei and Tsunade were busy chatting away with one another, so Zabuza figured he'd go and talk to the only person of the group that he deemed okay. Kakashi, said Zabuza as the silver-haired ninja peered his lone, visible eye at the Kiri ninja. Zabuza, replied Kakashi before smiling at him. Seems you've become quite the shinobi since our last meeting. A visible grin could be seen behind the bandaged part of Zabuza's face. One of Kiri's elite jonin if you want to get technical, and also the leader of the next 7 swordsmen. It's quite the accomplishment, said Zabuza as he looked over at Naruto talking to Chojuro. And it seems that while you haven't seemed to change, that blonde-haired brat has gotten quite famous and tall since the last time we met. Kakashi also panned his eyes over to Naruto. Seems like he has, but it wasn't because of me, that's all him, said Kakashi smiling before looking at Haku. And it seems she's grown up well, Zabuza chuckled slightly. So she has. We've been together now for 15 years and finally, she seems happy. No more running, no more dangerous missions for money. Well, maybe not that last thing. We're shinobi after all, but we have a home in Kiri and it's only getting better. So it seems. Don't tear up on me now, Zabuza. I don't think I have a tissue on me, said Kakashi as he flipped a page in his book. Zabuza looked ready to respond to Kakashi's statement before Tsunade's voice sounded out over everyone, ending all of the conversations. Well, now that we are all acquainted, I'm certain that those from Kiri are tired from their long travel. If you would like, I can get you all set up for your stay this evening, said Tsunade with a smile as all of the surrounding shinobi nodded their heads in agreement. Great, Naruto, if you would be so kind to show them to their rooms. And we'll begin our talks at 10 a.m. on the day after tomorrow, once my council members return from their meeting with our daimyo. Until then, if those from Kiri would follow me, said Naruto as he led the Kiri contingent through Konoha and into one of its most luxurious hotels. On his way, Naruto spotted a hawk flying through Konoha and land on Hashirama's head. Naruto couldn't help but smile. Suna, Kumo, and now Kiri. One village at a time, Gigi. I'll get that piece you desired, thought Naruto fondly of his grandfather, Hashirama, as he watched the hawk take back off and fly through the air. Naruto's apartment, same time, a small, white snake slithered its way through Naruto's apartment. Attached to that white snake was a note that carried a seal on it with the Uchiha clan crest attached to the back of it. The snake was actually one of Sasuke's summonings and it was attempting to make its way to Naruto so it can hand him the note attached to his back. However, that plan was stopped as a sword pierced the back of the snake and the note. Holding onto that sword was one of Konoha's elders, Danzo Shimura. Sorry, Sasuke. But to be honest, I need you gone. It'll be easier to control Orochimaru if you've been absorbed by him, especially considering that curse seal implanted on you. Then with his help, I'll be able to take over Konoha and finally bring peace to this world by uniting all nations under Konoha's roof. Thought Danzo as one of his root agents cleaned up the snake remains, making it appear as though it never entered Naruto's home. Orochimaru will be able to handle the Kyuubi after absorbing the Uchiha and me and my root agents will handle Konoha. Then I'll become its Hokage and all I have to do is give up test subjects for Orochimaru. But honestly, I'll probably kill him as well once he's dealt with Minato's son. He'll be the only one who could stop me at that point. Seeing that everything was back to normal and there was no trace, Danzo nodded his head. Good. We're off. We have those peace talks here in 2 days with the Kiri contingent being that Hiruzen's teammates are out at the moment. And by then, the plan should be in motion, said Danzo as he vanished into the shadows of Naruto's apartment, never leaving a trace of being there behind. Hokage's tower 2 days later, it was morning time and approximately 9:30 when Tsunade received a knock at her door. Come in, said Tsunade, putting down her paperwork to see a man with a cane walk through the door. Ah, Danzo. You're early. Danzo closed the door behind him as he walked in and took a seat in front of Tsunade. Hi, it's been, and always has been, my personal preference to show up at least 30 minutes earlier. That's how Root used to do it. Nothing like that Kakashi of yours, said Danzo peering a lone eye out at Tsunade. Wonder why he separated it like that by saying Kakashi was mine. Thought Tsunade as she went back to her paperwork. While true, a little strange. He's technically over Kakashi too. Off the record at the moment, since we're both alone, said Tsunade, noticing Danzo wasn't accompanied by his root agents at the moment. Probably didn't want to risk the Mizukage noticing their presence during the meeting. Have you heard back from Sasuke? It should be about time to go after Orochimaru. Danzo closed his lone eye before answering. Not yet. Though it is true, Orochimaru should be trying to take over him here soon. Unless Sasuke's switched sides, but no, that couldn't be possible. I personally trained him, said Danzo as Tsunade nodded her head in acknowledgement. True, and from what Naruto said about his most recent meeting with him, he was asking for help, so it's unlikely that he'd become a traitor, said Tsunade as she shifted her eyes up at Danzo. You didn't already send out a squad to get Sasuke, did you? Because you know how much Naruto wants to be a part of it. It's impressive that he hasn't told anyone about Root in the first place. Of course not. If and when we head out to retrieve Sasuke and end Orochimaru, Naruto will be the leader of that mission, but only if you deem it, said Danzo as Tsunade smiled. Great. I'm just glad there are no misunderstandings here. Because if you did attempt to botch the retrieval of one of my ninjas, for your own personal gain or any reason for that matter, I'll lock you away in a jail cell and end your root program, said Tsunade in her regular voice, but Danzo could hear the authority and venom behind it. Danzo never showed any reaction to Tsunade's words on the outside, but internally he was contemplating what was said. The way she speaks is as if she knows. But that's impossible, I covered all my tracks and... thought Danzo as with a sunshine, Naruto appeared in the room with Yugito. That boy is still here. If Tsunade knew then she'd have sent him immediately since it'd take 2 days to get there, even at his speed. So if he hasn't left by now then there's no way he'd get there on time. Hey Bachan, said Naruto with a smile before turning his face toward Danzo, ending his smile upon seeing him. Elder Danzo. Hello Tsunade Dono, said Yugito as she smiled at the blonde Hokage. Tsunade smiled back at the appearance of her favorite blondes. Yugito-chan and Naruto, nice of you two to be here. Glad you could make it on time, said Tsunade as she and Yugito began to engage in a conversation. Naruto's eyes never panned off of Danzo however. Hello, Naruto. I see you're here for the meeting. Naruto held a stern face. Of course, I had a hand in making sure this alliance went through so Tsunade-bachan asked me if I wanted to come and I wasn't going to defy my Hokage. I'd never do something like that. He still holds animosity toward me since I sent those rude agents to stop him all those years ago. Thought Danzo before answering. Neither would I. Everything I do is for Konoha and I'm sure your Hokage understands that and that's why she has sided with me in the past and will likely side with me in the future. Humph, it seems he refers to the moment when Tsunade sent out you and that ragtag group of rookie ninjas to try and stop Sasuke, knowing there were better shinobi available. Naruto mentally nodded. It would seem so. I just can't wait for the day that Tsunade lets me kick his ass, replied Naruto back to his Baijuwu partner. Oh yes, definitely. I've wanted to take a crack at that guy for the longest. Ever since I was in your mother. Oh don't worry. I'll be sure to let you take a crack at him, said Naruto before he realized something about Kurama's statement. What did you mean when you said in my mother? Naruto heard nothing but a chuckle from Kurama in response. A few seconds later, another knock came at the door as Naruto performed a sunshine to appear before it and open the door. Upon opening it, Naruto was met by one of his favorite people in the world. "Ne-chan," said Naruto excitedly as he grabbed Shizune in a bear hug. "I haven't seen you in forever. Where have you been?" Naruto sat down Shizune as she smiled at the blonde before her. "Well Naruto-kun, you'd see me if you take the correct way into Tsunade-sama's office. Since you go through the window all the time, you basically bypass me and all of the workers here in the Hokage Tower." Naruto looked at Shizune skeptically. "You're trying to make me lose the bet with Jiraiya-sensei, aren't you? How much is he paying you to make me feel bad about not seeing you? You'd think Jiraiya-sama would stoop so low to get you to lose the bet of who'd be able to grow through the window the longest by paying me to get you to feel bad?" questioned Shizune as Naruto nodded his head. "You're right. Is it working?" "Yes, it is. You're ingenious Ne-chan," said Naruto as Shizune smiled before addressing Tsunade. "Tsunade-sama, Maid Ono is in the conference room waiting for you with the other elders," said Shizune as Tsunade nodded her head. Tsunade stood up as she addressed Danzo, Naruto, and Yugito. "If you would all follow me to the conference room," said Tsunade as those three followed her to the office. Same time, somewhere in the land of grass, Kokokuku, "Sasuke-kun. You didn't think that I'd not have a plan to stop you, did you?" questioned Orochimaru as he stared at the downed Sasuke in front of him. Along Sasuke's body was black markings and he seemed to be in extreme pain as he looked up at Orochimaru with his Sharingan. "This is Danzo's Junjutsu, Cursed Seal. Is he in on this?" questioned Sasuke as he struggled to move but the cursed seal was too powerful. Orochimaru smiled at Sasuke before answering. "Of course Danzo was in on this. He figured that I'd be less of a threat in your body than you would be in it. Danzo has plans and mine coincide with his. All I have to do is stop Naruto-kun and that'll be easy to accomplish in your body," said Orochimaru before grinning ominously at the Uchiha. "And be sure to know that none of your help is coming. Danzo made sure to stop all that. Not to mention the poison in your system was of design by Kabuto before he was captured. You're not going anywhere." Sasuke struggled some more but it was no use. He was completely at the mercy of Orochimaru and could see the end approaching fast. In Konoha, as Danzo was approaching the conference, a small rat walked past him in the hallway. Though the rat wasn't a normal one at second glance, it had appeared to be made of ink. Which it later was as it dispelled into a group of words. Danzo-sama. That isn't the real Naruto. The Mizukage's two young shinobi are also not there. Danzo looked up at Naruto in front of him as he couldn't ascertain what his root agent was trying to get across to him. That's Naruto right there. So how could he not be the real one? Thought Danzo before it hit him. He could be a wood clone. As Danzo thought that, the Naruto in front of him turned his head around slightly to look at him. Naruto smiled a big grin before turning his head back around to head into the conference room. And he took the Mizukage's shinobi to help him. Thought Danzo as he continued as if nothing happened. With Orochimaru looked at Sasuke as he prepared to begin the ritual to absorb Sasuke's body. Boom! An enormous explosion occurred that blew a huge chunk of the wall of the room Sasuke and Orochimaru were in. Standing in the hole of the wall with debris and rocks flying all around him was Naruto. "Hot damn, I rock," said Naruto as he looked around expectantly for some laughs. 4 figures stood behind him as 2 of them looked uninterested in his joke. "But I mean, hot because of the fiery explosion and the rocks falling all around us? Ah well, forget it. Sasuke-kun," came the voice of 2 of the people with Naruto. One with pink hair and the other with black hair. "Sorry, Naruto-kun. Chojuro and I thought it was funny, just bad timing. You know, Orochimaru and then Sasuke's condition at the moment," came the calm voice of Haku as Naruto nodded his head. "I understand. You two are with me," said Naruto as he took off down the hallway, the same one Orochimaru took off through once the explosion happened. Being that Naruto and the 2 mist shinobi disappeared, it left Sasuke alone with Sakura and the other figure. That figure was in actuality a female. She was of average height, standing at 5 foot 4 inches tall. She had short, black hair and pink, pupil-less eyes. She wore the standard outfit of her village, which consisted of a red uniform with her right sleeve missing and a lapel over her right leg, a brown flak jacket, fishnet tights, and a skirt over them. She also wears regular shinobi sandals and a pair of gloves. Situated around her forehead was a forehead protector that had the symbol for Iwagakure carved into it. "Kurotsuchi. Sakura," said Sasuke weakly, addressing the 2 kunoikis beside him. "This is Danzo's Junjutsu. I could break it, but with the poison in my system, it's rather difficult. Did you get the antidote?" Sakura nodded her head as she pulled out a vial with black liquid inside. "Of course." Naruto said that Kabuto would likely have poison, and though it took a long process of mind reading, Inoiki found out the contents of the poison. "Making the antidote was easy after that," said Sakura as she placed the liquid into a needle. Sasuke then bore his eyes over to Kurotsuchi's pink ones as Sakura prepped the antidote. Kurotsuchi looked back into Sasuke's Sharingan as she smiled at the Uchiha in front of her. "Hi," greeted Kurotsuchi as Sasuke responded with a weak hi in return. "I knew you sucked as a shinobi. How could you let someone get the drop on you like that? I thought you were the almighty Uchiha from Konoha. Last of his breed. If this is the best you got, I think I may need a better dance partner." Sasuke laughed weakly as he felt a needle get stabbed into his back. "HN. You weren't saying that when I kicked you and your team's ass a year ago," said Sasuke as Kurotsuchi's face scrunched up in slight embarrassment. "Please, I wasn't the one leading the mission. Nor did you fight fairly. Had it been a straight-up one-on-one, me versus you, I'd have melted your pretty boy ass," said Kurotsuchi back to Sasuke before being swept off her feet, bridal style, by the Uchiha. "It's good to see you again," said Sasuke, who broke Danzo's Junjutsu with ease once he was freed of the poison in his system. Kurotsuchi smiled back at Sasuke. "It's good to see you too, Sasuke-kun," said Kurotsuchi before bringing Sasuke down into a kiss. The kiss lasted for about a minute before they were interrupted by a cough, that was followed by a huge explosion. "Sasuke-kun. Not to ruin your reunion. But Orochimaru was still alive and attempting to run. So if you could finish that after we finish him, that'd be great," said Sakura as Sasuke and Kurotsuchi looked sheepish at forgetting about the pressing matter at hand. Sasuke placed Kurotsuchi on the ground before nodding his head. "Let's go," said Sasuke taking off down a corridor with Kurotsuchi and Sakura in hot pursuit. Coming around a corner, they were met with an intriguing sight. Orochimaru was standing on top of a corridor, as he watched Naruto and the 2 mist shinobis battle Edo Tensei reincarnations. Sasuke immediately recognized both of the Edo Tensais and a tear came to his eye. Especially at the female one. "Kachan," said Sasuke as they're in Edo Tensei form, was his mother, Uchiha Mikado. Upon hearing Kachan, Mikado turned to see the owner of that voice. "Sasuke-chan," said Mikado, staring out at Sasuke. I guess this Edo Tensei has its blessings, I get to see my baby boy all grown up. Sasuke stared out at Mikado for a few more seconds before he heard Naruto slam the other figure into the ground. In doing so, Naruto slammed a palm in the stomach of the reincarnation. "Fun, seal," said Naruto as a seal spread out over the body of the figure, immobilizing him. "Sorry about your dad, Sasuke, but you know how this goes. The only way to stop an Edo Tensei is to either seal them, make the user dispel the technique, or have them reach nirvana so that their souls are free to ascend from their trapped bodies. It's just I never guessed your mom would be stronger than your dad." Together they were quite the tandem. I was quite the accomplished kunoichi before I become a mother, Naruto-kun. I was also next in line to lead the Uchiha clan, but since we are a patriarch clan, Fugaku was given the right to be the leader, said Mikado as Naruto arched his eyebrows, impressed at Mikado's achievements. "Well, at least you can't coordinate with anyone. It should be easier to stop you now," said Naruto before he heard Orochimaru laugh. "Kukukuku, Naruto-kun, you underestimate me and my power. I just needed to spare some time before I could gain enough power to summon the next body. One I'm sure you'll know well," said Orochimaru before clapping his hands together. "Kushios, Edo Tensei, summoning, impure world reincarnation," said Orochimaru as a coffin rose beside him. This coffin was different however, as it was blood red in color. Mikado jumped back up beside Orochimaru in the coffin, just as the lid to the coffin fell, revealing the person. Naruto's eyes bulged out at who Orochimaru managed to summon. "If you thought Mikado and Fugaku were tough as a tandem, just imagine what these two can do." "Actually don't imagine, because you'll have to face them right now," said Orochimaru as Naruto began to tremble slightly. Naruto immediately recognized the person. Seeing their face made Naruto feel weak in the knees. "Kachan," said Naruto weakly as Uzumaki Kushina was reincarnated by Orochimaru. Kushina's eyes opened to reveal Black's clear eyes surrounding violet eyes that matched Naruto's. Kushina's eyes then pandered over into Naruto's own. "Naruto-chan, my baby. My, how you've grown," said Kushina, smiling at the young man in front of her. Kushina then looked behind her to see Orochimaru standing there with a devious grin on his face. "Orochimaru team, I should have known this would happen. Of course, my dear Kushina-chan. And I'll have you know, your son is quite the nuisance to me. So why not have the person who brought him into this world be the one to take him out?" asked a smiling Orochimaru before commanding Kushina mentally to attack her son. Mikado was made to follow suit as she lunged out at Sasuke. Naruto caught Kushina's fist in his palm, as his feet skidded back due to the power behind the strike. Sasuke merely parried Mikado's fist as she continued past him, cracking the ground slightly. The mother and son duos then began a fast taijutsu battle as blows were exchanged from mother to son. While this was going on, the other four members of Naruto's group were wondering what to do. "Should we help them or should we go after Orochimaru?" questioned Chojuro, anxious to know what to do. Naruto dodged one of Kushina's kicks before backpedaling towards Sasuke. Sasuke performed a backflip to evade Mikado's punch as he landed back-to-back with Naruto. Naruto took the opportunity to address his team. "Don't worry guys. Sasuke and I will handle our mothers. You guys just go grab the other 3 people who will be joining us," said Naruto as Sasuke reached into his back pocket. "Here are their coordinates. Meet us at the rendezvous point and we'll head out from there," said Sasuke as the team of 4 nodded before taking off toward the first person on the list, who wasn't far away and was trapped in a container of water. Orochimaru looked interested at the instructions being handed out by the 2 young shinobi in front of him. "They must have forgotten about me. I could just leave at any time. Or I could stay and hope that Sasuke gets injured enough to the point that I can take over his body," thought Orochimaru before he decided to do the former. "I can always get Sasuke later, I'll have to find another body in the meantime, but Sasuke can wait. There's no use in getting killed today, I have too much to accomplish." Orochimaru turned to leave the building before his face was met by the underside of a wooden geta. Orochimaru was sent careening over Naruto and Sasuke, back through the room that they'd just come from. "Glad to see I'm not late to the party," came the voice of the man behind the wooden geta. "Killing my old teammate, I'm about to check that off of my bucket list today." "Jiraiya-sensei, we left him just for you," said Naruto as Jiraiya nodded his head before taking off after where he sent Orochimaru. "You just be careful, kids. Your mothers are no pushovers. At one point they were deemed to be as good as Tsunade Haim. They were even deadlier as a duo," said Jiraiya before disappearing down the corridor. Naruto and Sasuke turned their heads back to their respective mothers as they prepared to do battle once more. Though I don't like the circumstances. I did want to meet you, Ka-chan. I've heard so much about you. Naruto's words brought a smile to Kushina's face. Well, I hope you find a way to stop me. Because I can't control my movements. Here I come, said Kushina as she sprinted back out at Naruto. Naruto returned her sprint as he prepared to meet her head-on. Naruto and Kushina clashed together in a standstill as Naruto blocked Kushina's kick with his forearm while Kushina blocked Naruto's other fist with both of her arms. Naruto wasn't prepared for a golden chain to come flying out the back of his mother's hair. Naruto, those are your mother's chakra chains. They have the power to suppress chakra. Do not get struck by one of those, said Kurama urgently in Naruto's head as Naruto acknowledged his partner and jumped to the side to dodge. Naruto didn't have to wait long before 3 more chains appeared from Kushina's back and all of them were dancing around menacingly behind her. Kushina came back at Naruto full speed, as she began to lash out with more strikes that coordinated well with the chains that were floating behind her. Mom is so good at taijutsu. It's scary. If this continues for any longer, I'll get struck by either her or one of her chains. Thought Naruto as he continued to narrowly dodge Kushina's assault as that was all he felt he could do. Meanwhile, Mikado and Sasuke were still locking eyes with one another. Though on the outside it appeared as if they were just standing there. However, the two were actually locked in a battle of genjutsu. Eventually, Sasuke began to flow through hand seals that were quickly mirrored by Mikado. Katen, Gokaku no Jutsu, Fire Style, Grand Fireball Technique, said Sasuke and Mikado simultaneously as they both blew out huge fireballs toward one another. However, Sasuke immediately realized he was going to lose the battle when he noticed that Mikado's fireball was near twice the size of his. Luckily, Naruto appeared next to Sasuke in a sunshine as he held the ram seal. Suten, Suijin Heki, Water Style, Water Encampment Wall. Thought Naruto before he spat out an enormous stream of water that quickly doused the fire that was slowly approaching Sasuke. Sasuke breathed a sigh of relief at Naruto's timely arrival. That was close. My mom is basically the same as me. Only better. She was beating me down in our genjutsu fight and there was nothing I could do about it. Then the fireball technique just now, said Sasuke hard-pressed at how he was going to defeat his mom. What about yours? Questioned Sasuke as he looked at the blonde beside him. Well, I'm just a clone. Boss is over there getting murdered by Ka-chan. He can't catch a break, he created 4 of us and only I made it over to help you and possibly formulate a plan, said the clone Naruto as Sasuke nodded his head. Well, if you can come up with something let me know because right now, we're getting nowhere fighting alone. Which was a good plan considering Jiraiya-sama said they were a fearsome duo, said Sasuke as Naruto's clone nodded. Well, what makes you both any different? I mean when you both were in Anbu together, you guys seemed unstoppable. Or when we helped protect the village, said the clone, shifting into a defense seeing Mikado run through hand seals. Maybe fighting together is better than alone. Sasuke thought for a moment before agreeing with the replica of Naruto. Maybe you're right. Now we just have to tell Naruto, said Sasuke as he was pushed out of the way by the clone. Got it covered, said the clone before he was violently blown to pieces by Mikado's fire jutsu just now. Katen, Ryuken no Jutsu, Fire Style, Fire Dragon Technique, said Mikado as she placed her hands on her hips and looked out at Sasuke with disappointment. Now if that clone hadn't moved you out of the way, you would have been blown to bits by that jutsu. Didn't anyone ever teach you to never take your eyes off your opponent? Questioned Mikado in a motherly tone as Sasuke stood back up from being pushed away by the clone. Just as Sasuke was standing up, Naruto landed beside him with several cut marks on his clothes, but nothing that actually hit his skin. Dude, this sucks, said Naruto noticing the cinch marks on Sasuke's shirt and pants from Mikado's last jutsu. You're right but I think your clone had the right idea. We weren't getting anywhere separate and I don't think a change of mothers would have helped either, we need to do this together, said Sasuke as Naruto nodded his head. Kushina landed next to Mikado as her chains continued to dance behind her head. Let's do this, said Naruto as he placed his hands in the snake seal. Makuten, Mokuhohiki, Wood Style, Wood Locking Wall. Thought Naruto as he surrounded Sasuke and himself in a dome of interlocking wooden pillars. Kushina and Mikado both appeared on the outside of the wall before smashing a hole through each side of it. Upon doing so, they realized that nothing was in the dome. Only a ceiling array could be seen on the ground, that spread out underneath the both of them. Makuten Kushios, Wood Style Summoning. Thought Naruto as a huge, Venus flytrap sprung from the ground to eat Kushina and Mikado. Both Mikado and Kushina jumped as Mikado fired a huge fireball into the mouth of the giant plant. The plant swallowed the fireball whole as it began to burn internally while smoke clouded the area. The plant continued to burn to a crisp as Mikado and Kushina could be seen coming out of the smoke cloud, descending to the ground. Upon descending, however, they were met in mid-air by Sasuke. "Dabura Chidori, double Chidori," shouted Sasuke, who held two Chidoras in his hands that pierced both Mikado and Kushina at the same time. Sasuke immediately pulled his hand out of Mikado and Kushina as a branch snagged him and pulled him away from the two. Boom! Both Mikado and Kushina had exploded in mid-air. "Kachan must have made the switch while they were in the smoke cloud," said Naruto, bringing Sasuke down beside him from the branch that was his arm. Naruto's arm morphed back into his regular arm as he sensed Mikado and Kushina behind him and Sasuke. "This is going to be a long fight, Sasuke. I'm sorry, baby. I can't help it," said Kushina as Naruto nodded his head in understanding. Mikado then smiled. "It seems you were right, Kushina. Sasuke and Naruto did grow up to be friends. And that combination just now would have gotten lesser Shinobis. This is great, too bad we have to fight each other." "Yeah, I hear you on that," said Sasuke as Mikado and Kushina began to sprint back at their sons. "Here they come. Again." With Haku and Chojuro, the group of four consisting of Haku, Chojuro, Sakura, and Kurotsuchi split up to get to their targets faster. Sakura took to the southernmost hideout in search of one of the people on Sasuke's list. Kurotsuchi took to the northernmost hideout in search of the second person on Sasuke's list. While Haku and Chojuro took to the third member of Sasuke's list. Haku rounded a turn with Chojuro as they were met with a door that appeared to be bolted shut. Haku stopped in front of the door as she looked back at Chojuro behind her. Haku placed a hand on the door as ice began to spread out over the door in its entirety. Feeling as though she froze enough of the door, Haku backed away. "Chojuro," said Haku as Chojuro nodded his head. Chojuro pulled the big sword off his back as he held it with both hands. The bandages around the sword unraveled as Chojuro let out a big shout while swinging the sword at the door. "Hiram Karai Kai, Hiram Karai release," said Chojuro as chakra coated Hiram Karai before turning into the shape of a hammer. Chojuro smashed the chakra hammer into the frozen door, which turned into tiny pieces due to its newfound brittleness from Haku icing it. Haku was the first into the room as she came upon a large water tank. Haku didn't wait long before she heard a voice come from the water tank that made her smile happily on the inside. "Is that Haku-chan? And Chojuro?" came a voice from the water tank as Haku smiled. "Suigetsu-kun, you're here," said Haku as she and Chojuro prepared to set Suigetsu free. "South hideout with Sakura, what the hell do you mean I have to come with you?" questioned a redhead girl, wearing glasses who looked to be the same age as Sakura. The girl was in a fighting stance as she attempted to fight Sakura. "It's not me who wants you to come with us. It's Sasa," started Sakura before she had to dodge a punch from the redhead. "I don't want to hear about this. There's no way, absolutely no way I'd ever come with you. I don't care who wants me to," said the girl before Sakura appeared behind her. Sakura placed a glowing palm on the back of the girl's head, causing the girl to fall into a deep sleep. "Kami, why couldn't I get the psycho?" questioned Sakura as she proceeded to drag the redhead out of the building before activating the seals she placed. Boom! Sakura blew up the entire hideout, leaving nothing out of reach from the explosion, effectively destroying every last piece of the hideout and all of the nasty experiments inside. Sakura then proceeded back to the rendezvous point with the redhead and tow. "North hideout with Kurotsuchi, why couldn't I get the weak redhead?" questioned Kurotsuchi as she dodged a huge fist. The fist blew out a hole in the wall as the man behind the fist looked at Kurotsuchi with a crazed look. "I'll kill you. Ha ha ha," came the even crazier voice of the large man with orange hair. He made a move to attack Kurotsuchi again before he was stopped dead in his tracks by Kurotsuchi's next jutsu. Yotan, Sekigyo no Jutsu, Lava Style, Quicklime Congealing Technique, thought Kurotsuchi as she realized a wave of quicklime from her mouth at the large man, which acted like quick-drying cement, quickly immobilizing him from moving any further. The man with orange hair proceeded to struggle to move but couldn't as the jutsu was too powerful for him to break. The man then succumbed to unconsciousness as Kurotsuchi placed the seal Naruto had given her on his forehead, cutting off the large man's chakra and sending him into a deep sleep. "That should do it," said Kurotsuchi before realizing she'd now have to lug the large man out of there. "Sasuke owes me for this," finished Kurotsuchi, picking up the man before heading out of the hideout. On her way out of the hideout, there were several other people situated outside. All of them were dead as Kurotsuchi killed them on her way to her target. "Cursed seal. I feel bad for killing you all but, it had to be done," said Kurotsuchi, and just before leaving, She placed the man on the ground as she put her hands in the snake seal. Kurotsuchi slammed both of her palms on the ground as all around her, everything rumbled as if an earthquake was occurring. Doton, Sando no Jutsu, Earth Release, Sandwich Technique. Thought Kurotsuchi as the ground began to rumble tremendously. On both sides of the hideout, enormous walls of earth rose that was double the size of the hideout before they closed together, sandwiching the entire hideout between them. Kurotsuchi then placed her hands in the ram seal as she stomped the ground with her foot. The sandwich of earth Kurotsuchi created spewed out a large amount of lava as Kurotsuchi essentially created a volcano to destroy the northern hideout. Kurotsuchi picked the man back up as she proceeded to head back to the rendezvous point. With Jiraiya and Orochimaru, Jiraiya jumped into the room he just kicked Orochimaru into to see Orochimaru regurgitating another one of himself. Jiraiya's sudden arrival surprised Orochimaru, and that kick from earlier definitely would have killed or at least incapacitated a lesser man. "Good to see you still alive there, old friend," said Jiraiya staring into the slit eyes of Orochimaru. "I hope that you didn't think I wouldn't show up to kill you? I feel I deserve that honor after all these years and since you killed my sensei. Kukukaku. Of course, you'd be here. I should have known," said Orochimaru as he interlaced his fingers. Orochimaru then proceeded to cough out his ever-sharp Kusanagi blade as he held it in his hands. "I will kill you, Jiraiya. And afterward, I will absorb that Uchiha boy once his mother is finished with him." "Ha, if you think Naruto will get defeated, you have another thing coming. That kid is already stronger than both of us, and I am sure that Sasuke kid is no pushover. Even if Kushina and Mikado are powerful, those two will surely come away victorious. In which case, they'll come to watch me beat your ass," said Jiraiya as he continued to stall. "That's if they can get over the emotional wall that'll impede their talents and thinking from facing their dear mothers," said Orochimaru with a smile as he finally realized why Jiraiya didn't immediately continue attacking him. Sage Mode. Around Jiraiya's eyes, an orange pigmentation began to align across his brow as his eyes turned golden and his pupil became bar-like. "Oh yeah. I'll have to remember to thank Naruto for those tips. I'm officially a complete sage," said Jiraiya with a smile. Jiraiya then smirked at his old friend Orochimaru. "Oh yeah, it's about to go down." "You're right, Jiraiya. It is. You're not the only one who was stalling for time," said Orochimaru as horns began to grow from his head and the purple pigmentation around his eyes grew darker and flowed farther down his face through his back. "You're not the only one who knows Sage Mode." Jiraiya looked at Orochimaru as his smirk dropped slightly. "Fuck," said Jiraiya as Orochimaru came sprinting at him with his sword cocked back. Naruto and Sasuke were in hell. Not literally, but if there was a circumstance one could concoct that would be close in similarity to hell, the one they were in was the closest they'd ever been. Naruto and Sasuke both looked worse for wear as their clothes were torn, cuts and bruises aligned their faces and bodies, and they were certain that they would be sore afterward if they made it out alive. Their opponents, despite their somber faces, were no worse for wear. In actuality, they were in perfect condition due to the infamous jutsu created by the Nidaime Hokage, Edo Tensei, Impure World Reincarnation. "Naruto-chan," said a concerned Kushina even though she was the main one putting the beating on her son. "Are you okay?" Naruto blew out a deep breath to calm himself as he nodded his head. "Of course I am. Just have to find a way to beat my incredibly strong mother is all. No big deal." "Well, you are doing a terrible job at it then. You're much stronger than this, I can feel it," said Kushina as Naruto prepared a rebuttal. "Ka-chan, you're super strong. And what do you mean I'm doing a terrible job?" "I'm giving it my all," said Naruto as Kushina shook her head. Before Kushina answered, Sasuke decided to for her. "She's right, Naruto," said Sasuke while wiping the trail of blood from his mouth. He stood at full height behind his best friend who turned an eye to him. "You haven't been going all out. And neither have I." Mikado nodded her head in agreement. "This is true. My eyes are the best in the world. I can see that you both aren't utilizing your full potential," said Mikado before turning to Naruto. "I mean, you haven't even used your Jinchuriki power." Naruto blanched at that realization. She was right. Not once had he even contemplated tapping into Kurama's power. "Seeing your mother had your mind scrambled?" Naruto arrived in his mind to see his Baijuo. "You've been taking it easy on your mother without even realizing it. So you can spend as much time as you can with her if I were to guess. I understand you want to see her, but if you keep this up, you will lose the ability to finish her despite her." Naruto considered everyone's words as he looked up into his mother's concerned eyes. Naruto breathed out another calming breath before nodding his head. "You're right. All of you," said Naruto as a fiery, Orange chakra shroud began to cover his entire body. Seal markings began to appear across his body as his eyes turned a vibrant orange. Kurama is right. I wanted to spend as much time with you as possible, Ka-chan. Now I understand, so I'm sorry for what I have to do. I feel the same. However, I died and wish to be back by your father's side. His soul finally came to the place where mine was, and I would really enjoy going back to him. Sasuke walked up next to Naruto as Naruto held a fist out towards him. Fist bumping with Naruto, Sasuke's body immediately became shrouded in a red, bubbly Jinchuriki cloak. Sasuke smirked, feeling the potent chakra flow through his body. Just like old times. Let's do this, said Sasuke as he placed his hands in the tiger seal. Naruto nodded his head before placing his hands in the ram seal. Kaden, Gamayuenden, fire style, toad flame bombs, said Naruto, shooting out a torrent of oil at the same time as Sasuke's stream of fire. The fire and oil combined into a potent mixture as it exploded on contact in the small space between the two Edo Tensei reincarnations. Smoke clouded the area around the two mothers as Naruto and Sasuke waited to see if their attack hit them. Sasuke, 8 o'clock. It's Mikito, said Naruto before creating 10 clones all clad in their own Jinchuriki cloak. My clones will stall her while we take care of Kushina first. It'll be better to split them up and take them two at a time. Seeing that Kushina would be more difficult, we'll take her first. Sasuke nodded at Naruto before following after the Jinchuriki. Seems you've grown into a leader over the years, Naruto, thought Sasuke as they approached Kushina. And this transfer of your Baiju's chakra is impressive. That fireball was at least 3 times more powerful than I'd ever done before. And you've been handling chakra this powerful all this time? How good are you now? Kushina came to a stop after splitting up with Mikado to evade the jutsu to see Naruto and Sasuke approaching her. Kushina blocked Naruto's punch before receiving a harsh kick to the side of the head from Sasuke. However, another one of Kushina's chains appeared, blocking the powerful kick from the Uchiha. This is a good plan. To split me and Mikado up while attacking one of us in a 2-on-1 situation. Now you're thinking, said Kushina before she heard a swirling noise behind her that only one jutsu made. He learned Minato-kun's jutsu. Hit with the signature jutsu, Kushina was sent flying across the room. Noticing the Naruto in front of her had latched onto her with a bear hug, Kushina prepared for the worst. Bunshine Daibakufu, clone grade explosion. Thought Naruto as the clone attached to Kushina exploded. Sasuke landed next to the original Naruto as he looked impressed at the display. Naruto, that was quite the sequence, said Sasuke as Naruto looked to check on the condition of his mother. The smoke from the clone exploding died down as Naruto looked at a crazy sight. Nice combination. You would have had me if not for this, said Kushina, now cloaked in the same bubbly chakra as Sasuke. Seems my mother managed to steal my clone's chakra, said Naruto, amazed at his mother's ability. Naruto blanched when he received the rapid-fire memories from his clones. Sasuke, your mom just destroyed all of my clones in one swoop. And you won't believe the how. One swoop? Sasuke turned to his mother and his eyes went wide. You're kidding me. How? Mikado jumped into view shrouded by a vibrant yellow chakra. I've seen a lot of things in my time, Sasuke-chan. Including my own best friend's death. It happened the night of the Kyuubi attack, said Mikado as her eyes could be seen now. Her Sharingan's design was now 3 thin lines inwardly swirling towards the pupil and 3 thicker swirls in the same manner. Susanoo. The yellow chakra shroud around Mikado was a spectral image of a humanoid being more human in appearance than Sasuke's version. The Kyuubi chakra shrouded Kushina landed beside Mikado in her Susanoo as they prepared to face off against their sons again. Well, this certainly makes it interesting, said Naruto as the orange shroud around him grew to form the upper body of a chakra Kurama. Naruto and Sasuke in Naruto's Kurama avatar stood opposing Mikado and Kushina standing in Mikado's Susanoo. If this were a picture, it'd be awesome. Am I right? Huh? Anybody? The other 3 smiled before the 4 began sprinting toward one another. The battle wasn't over just yet. With Jiraiya and Orochimaru, a huge explosion rocked the area as Orochimaru came flying out of the smoke cloud with Jiraiya coming out of the other side. Both of them were holding a different hand seal as they each prepped a jutsu. Senpo, Kabari Senbone, Sage Art, Hari Needle Senbone, said Jiraiya as he landed on all 4s with his hair protruding past him, pointed directly at Orochimaru. The hair on Jiraiya's head hardened as he sent a continuous wave of sharpened hair follicles turned needles directly at Orochimaru. Orochimaru smirked at the impressive speed of the jutsu but just was a bit too slow as his own jutsu countered it flawlessly. Senpo, Futon, Daitappa, Sage art, wind style. Great breakthrough. A violent and sudden gust of wind picked up immediately behind Orochimaru toward Jiraiya. Due to the force of the wind, the needles that were traveling toward Orochimaru stopped in midair and turned back for Jiraiya. "Oh shit!" shrieked Jiraiya, being picked up by the gust of wind as he was tossed back into the wall by the wind and hit hundreds of times with his own hair needles. Orochimaru smirked at catching Jiraiya off guard. Jiraiya sat perfectly in the Jiraiya-sized crater in the wall, groaning in pain as his own hair needles bounced harmlessly off of his skin. Jiraiya moved out of the wall as he looked at Orochimaru. "Didn't know you had that up your sleeve." "Kukukuku, it seems your Sage mode gives you extra powers," said Orochimaru with a grin. "Your skin is like steel now, I see. Hey, told you toads were better than snakes. All you got were those stupid horns and that purple eyeliner that runs all the way down your back," said Jiraiya with a smirk as he noticed Orochimaru place his hands in a weird hand seal. "Actually, I have a question for you. How are you using jutsus? Enma said Sensei stole your arms with his Hinigami. Of all the things your sterling disciple is, he is ever clumsy. I'm assuming that he one day found this Hinigami no Man, Death God mask," said Orochimaru as Jiraiya looked up in remembrance. Flashback, 6 months ago, Naruto, where are we? Questioned Jiraiya as Naruto pointed toward the rundown building they just walked up to. "This? What is this? Oh, there's a sign, Uzumaki clan's mask storage temple." Jiraiya formed an O with his mouth as Naruto nodded his head. "Am I right? Why did no one know about this? And if they did, why didn't they tell me about this? Even if it wasn't proven at that time that I was an Uzumaki, my last name was Uzumaki for Kami's sake. Well, your mom is Uzumaki Kushina. And you're the only Uzumaki I've seen since her, I guess it is yours. But why are we really here?" Naruto tapped a hand on Jiraiya's shoulder as they vanished in a sunshine to the inside of the building. "Sheesh, it's dusty in here," said Naruto after landing in the tiny building with Jiraiya. Naruto looked around for a second before he noticed the thing he was looking for. Jiraiya looked over to see Naruto picking up a mask. "Is that the Shinigami's face?" shouted Jiraiya in a slight panic as Naruto nodded. "What are you going to do with it? Wait, is this what I think it is? I remember Minato talking about it one day. Which means you know I'm going to free the souls of those trapped. Meaning, Sarutobi Gigi, Hashirama Gigi, Tobirama-sama, my dad, and the other half of Kurama," said Naruto happily as Jiraiya looked intrigued. "Other half of Kurama?" Kurama said Dad had to split his chakra in half. "Half with him and the other half with me." Jiraiya gave a nod. "Plus, you told me what Gigi's monkey summon said of him using it as well," continued Naruto as the markings of his Sage mode began to appear on his face. "And I'll need Sage mode if I ever hope to not die. Might want to stand back, Jiraiya-sensei. No worries about me. I'm sure I'll be fine. You usually are. But if I do die, tell everyone I'll miss them and I'm sorry for doing something so stupid." "I can do that," said Jiraiya as he watched his student attempt to commit a dangerous and potentially suicidal act. Something he'd likely get blamed for by those who care about Naruto since he could have easily stopped him. However, Jiraiya is indeed faithful in his student and hopes that he knows what he's doing. Naruto placed the mask on his face as his arms immediately strung up parallel to his shoulders. "Shiki Fujin, Kai, dead demon consuming seal, release," said Naruto in a possessed voice. An image of the Shinigami appeared behind Naruto as it pulled its spectral sword out of its sheath. The Shinigami then proceeded to rip a large hole through its stomach, allowing several souls to freely float from it. Jiraiya looked impressed by the display until he noticed Naruto appear to be cut almost in half. "Whoa! Naruto? Questioned Jiraiya in fear at the sight of his disciple laying face down in a steadily growing pool of his own blood. "Naruto?" Jiraiya approached the motionless Naruto before noticing something off. "Naruto, you're not even close to dying," said Jiraiya as Naruto continued to stay still lying down on the floor. "Maybe I'll just tell you Gito about what you just did. I think she'd like to know about this near-death experience." Naruto immediately sprung up off the ground with nothing but a large rip through his shirt as he shook his head. "No. I'm cool. How dope is my Sage mode though? Regeneration is amazing," said Naruto as Jiraiya smiled that his student was fine. "Alright, so now what?" asked Jiraiya as Naruto put his hands in the Ram seal. One of the souls, the largest one in the room, flew into Naruto as Naruto's eyes shut closed and his body glowed bright orange. "You feel that, Kurama?" questioned Naruto in his head as he could practically feel the grin on Kurama's face. "I definitely feel it. Welcome back." Naruto appeared in his mindscape as he looked at Kurama. Naruto smiled before feeling a presence behind him, a very familiar presence. "Yo!" came a voice that eerily sounded just like Kurama's. Naruto turned around to see another Kurama standing there, although this one had darker fur. "So this is Naruto. It is a pleasure to meet you." Naruto looked the second Kurama up and down as he grimaced slightly. "Yo, how do you already know about me?" questioned Naruto as the darker-furred Kurama pointed toward the regular Kurama. "So you guys already synced or something? It's been like 3 seconds since you got in here?" Both Kuramas looked at Naruto with a deadpan expression. "You do realize that the human brain processes things at a rate unfathomable to comprehend. Meaning that hours in here are barely even a second in the real world," said Kurama as Naruto nodded his head in recollection. "Forgot about that. Anyway, this is going to be creepy. Are there really going to be 2 Kuramas in my head?" questioned Naruto as he noticed only one Kurama standing there now. His original Kurama was all by his lonesome once more. "Wait? You guys merged? You're kidding me, right? How did that happen so fast?" "Never mind, unfathomable to comprehend." "Wait, you got big." The lone Kurama in the room nodded his head. "This was my actual size before your father took the yin half of my chakra. Now, I'm back to normal and I feel damn good. You should get back to the real world while I remember how great I was." "You still have work to finish," said Kurama as Naruto was firmly ejected from his mind. "I didn't even know he could eject me from my own mind. Maybe it's because he got stronger? After all, his other half of chakra is back," said Naruto as he noticed Jiraiya looking at him. "Oh right. That was the yin half of Kurama that Dad stole during the Kyuubi attack. I have assimilated it and I feel awesome. Like, more awesome than usual." Naruto flexed his chakra and got Jiraiya to buckle at its increased potency. "Anyway, being that these are the souls of the previous 4 Hokages and Orochimaru has DNA of them and knows Edo Tensei, we'll have to seal them. Just in case he manages to reincarnate them somehow, with one of his lackeys or anything." "Sounds good to me, kiddo. Glad you're alright. But weren't there 6 floating soul things? If you absorbed one and there's only 4 here now, what happened to the last one?" Naruto shrugged his shoulders. "Beats me. All I know is that the 4 that matter are here and that's all that really mattered in the first place. By the way, are you buying lunch?" questioned Naruto as Jiraiya grinned. "The last one to the restaurant pays." "Go," said Jiraiya as he hightailed it out of there, leaving Naruto all alone in the room. "You're a cheater. And I still have to finish the ceiling," said Naruto as he then realized something. "We never agreed on a restaurant." Flashback end, "That extra soul there, those were your arms," said Jiraiya as Orochimaru nodded his head. "Since your actual soul is still here, it must have been drawn back to it. Meaning we never would have been able to stop it once it was freed." "Yes, how incredible of him to find that for me. I'd been looking for it since Tsunade turned me down those years ago," said Orochimaru, who was still holding that same hand seal. "And your sage mode isn't the only one that allows other abilities." Jiraiya felt the entire room begin to shake as the floor and walls began to liquefy. "Senpo, Muki Tensei, Sage Art, Inorganic Reincarnation," said Orochimaru as the room began to branch out to attack Jiraiya. Jiraiya looked shocked by the jutsu but managed to leap out of the way due to the sensory abilities granted to him through Sage Mode. "You can't get away, Jiraiya. I own this whole room now. This is my territory." Jiraiya jumped high into the air as he nodded his head. "That's impressive." "Can't lie," said Jiraiya, biting his thumb as the room continued to approach him to attack him. Kushios, summoning. An enormous poof of smoke appeared around Jiraiya as the room entered the cloud to attack him. Orochimaru waited patiently as he wondered whether his attack got to Jiraiya before he could get out whatever he was trying to summon. It all proved for naught as the room that was once attacking Jiraiya was being fought back by a powerful jutsu from the white-haired Sannin and 2 small toads attached to his shoulders. "Senpo, Goemon, Sage Art, Bath of Boiling Oil," said Jiraiya as he was blowing out a stream of oil, which combined with the fire being spewed by the toad on his left shoulder and the wind from the toad on his right shoulder. Feeling the intense heat of Jiraiya's jutsu, the room reverted to its original inanimate form as Jiraiya's technique came splashing down around Orochimaru. Seeing the danger, Orochimaru leapt away onto the wall opposing Jiraiya. As Orochimaru landed, he was met with an enormous ball of chakra that he knew well. "Cho-Odama Rasengan, Ultra Big Ball Rasengan," said Jiraiya, now beside Orochimaru holding an enormous Rasengan in his hand. The jutsu connected cleanly with Orochimaru, who was sent sailing back down into the ground below them, right into the boiling oil. Jiraiya looked down at his once friend who was melting in the boiling hot oil. "So, you're finally going to do it, eh, Jiraiya-chan?" questioned the small toad on Jiraiya's right shoulder. Seeing Jiraiya nod, the small toad nodded as well. "Wow, what was that for?" questioned Jiraiya, who was taken out of sage mode for a second before regaining it almost immediately. "Why'd you hit me, Fukasaku-sensei?" The small toad, Fukasaku, was holding what appeared to be a walking stick as he explained himself. "Didn't me and Ma tell you ages ago to take care of this? And now you wait until he can use sage mode and all that nonsense. You just made it harder by not finishing it earlier." "Don't worry, Jiraiya-chan. I understand," said the other toad, getting Jiraiya to smile. "Thank you, Shima-sama. I'm glad one of you understands." "Whack, stop hitting me," exclaimed Jiraiya after being hit by a rolling pin from Shima. "Pause, right. You should have taken care of this ages ago. Now we have to deal with this creepy guy. This is all your fault. Don't worry. We'll fix it today, I promise. Orochimaru will be dead by the end of this battle." Whack whack. Jiraiya had 2 more knots on his head due to the combined attack of Shima and Fukasaku. "Are you both done now? Can we get on with hitting Orochimaru rather than me?" questioned Jiraiya as the 2 toads looked at each other. "Okay, let's do this," said Fukasaku as the 3 sages looked to see Orochimaru standing up in perfect condition, having regurgitated another of himself, while Jiraiya argued with the 2 toads. "What do you think, Jiraiya-chan? Can we take him?" "That's debatable," said Jiraiya as the 2 toads listened intently. "While I'm sure we can batter him around for several minutes, let alone hours, and come out winning, it would do no justice as his sage mode won't run out. He's continually drawing it in, even while moving. And since I have you 2 now, I won't ever come out of sage mode either. And us hurting him does nothing if he can just cough up another one of himself. I'm at a loss, really." The 2 elderly toads considered the words as they watched Orochimaru look toward them with a grin. "Genjutsu. We'll need to use Genjutsu, Ma," said Fukasaku, as before Shima could argue about not singing in front of people, he stopped her. "We have to. It'll be the only thing that'll work on him." "Fine," said Shima as she placed her hands together along with Pa. "You better not laugh at us, Jiraiya-chan. And we'll need some time. Stall him as long as possible." Jiraiya nodded his head as his eyes never panned off of Orochimaru's. "So Orochi," said Jiraiya as Orochimaru blanched at the nickname. "How are you gathering Senjutsu while on the move? That has to be the most impressive thing I've ever seen, besides how fast Naruto can enter sage mode and the length at which he can sustain it on just 1 juice up. Naruto knows Senjutsu as well? I'll have to make sure he's dead by the end of this," said Orochimaru as he smirked. "But a power I assimilated from an experiment of mine. Hugo is his name, and his body naturally attracts Senjutsu. It's quite impressive. Cultivating those cells into myself was easy, and it granted me the ability to stay in sage mode whether I move or not. But no more stalling, I will kill you and those pint-sized toads on your shoulder." Orochimaru picked up his dropped Kusanagi blade from earlier in their fight as he sprinted back up the wall toward Jiraiya. Jiraiya breathed out an enormous wall of fire as Orochimaru immediately responded by sending out a huge torrent of water. Steam clouded the area for a second as Jiraiya came back into focus a few moments later with Orochimaru right upon him. Jiraiya ducked a sword strike that would have split him in 2 as Jiraiya needed to continue to move or be struck by the legendary blade. Jiraiya sidestepped a straightforward stab by Orochimaru before being kicked abruptly away by the snake Sanin. The kick, while blocked, propelled Jiraiya into the wall as Orochimaru's sword grew to stab Jiraiya from across the room. The Jiraiya in the wall looked shocked at being stabbed before he dispelled in a poof of smoke. Orochimaru looked not surprised at the shadow clone, as he knew it'd take more than that to kill Jiraiya. "You may be a fool, Jiraiya, but I will respect your skills as a shinobi," said Orochimaru as he heard Jiraiya chuckle. Though it seemed to come from everywhere. "Thanks, Rochi. I am pretty damn good if I do say so myself," said Jiraiya, now coming back into view from the floorboards of the room. "Kokokaku. Well, it seems like those toads on your shoulders are building up for something," said Orochimaru as he held the bird hand seal. "Why not ruin their concentration? Senpo, Hokage no Jutsu, Sage Art, White Rage Technique." A dragon-like entity came flying out of Orochimaru's mouth that was carrying a small blue orb. Jiraiya was prepared for the fast-paced dragon and put his hands up in an attempt to block. However, the dragon stopped about several feet from Jiraiya before coiling around on itself. As it did that, the orb in its hand glowed brightly as it let out a deafening noise and blinding light. The 3 toad sages immediately felt the effects of the jutsu. This jutsu. It's not only meant to constrict the senses of vision and hearing. It's also to create temporary paralysis. "My bones feel like they are grinding together," thought Jiraiya as he noticed Orochimaru sprinting toward him. How can he handle this environment? A snake has the ability to close off the cornea in its eyes, so the light doesn't bother me. And since I've assimilated the abilities of Suigetsu's clan, my body can handle the intense vibrations caused by the noise. I'm the only one who can move in these conditions, said Orochimaru as he neared the motionless Jiraiya. Orochimaru reached Jiraiya as he struck the paralyzed sages with several debilitating blows, each. Orochimaru then booted Jiraiya away as he stalked the down-toed sages who were still laying there feeling the effects of the jutsu. Several snakes began to crawl out of Orochimaru's sleeve as they began to head toward the necks of the three. The snakes struck the sages as the blinding light and deafening noise disappeared to just meager faint croaks. Orochimaru looked giddy that he'd been able to finally get Jiraiya. Orochimaru closed his eyes to blink and upon opening them, noticed himself trapped in what appeared to be a cube of water. Looking to his left and right, Orochimaru saw he was surrounded on all four sides by giant stone toads. Appearing in the field in front of Orochimaru was Jiraiya with the two toads on his shoulders still. Orochimaru wondered what was going on. Is this genjutsu? How? I'm in sage mode, Jiraiya chuckled before grabbing one of the stone swords from the statues. Well, Rochi. These two pine-sized toads on my shoulders whack Jiraiya sighed as two knots formed on his head again. Shima-sama and Fukasaku-sensei have been sages for a long time. In that time, they've learned new abilities. One being, Megan, Gamma Rinso, Demonic Illusion, Toad Confrontation Chant, a very powerful genjutsu that immobilizes anybody within the sound of those croaks. Orochimaru's eyes widened in recollection as he had heard those croaks when he thought he finished off Jiraiya. But I'm a sage. The influx of Senjutsu should cancel all genjutsu? Questioned Orochimaru, appearing afraid for his life for the first time in a long time. While that is true, genjutsu doesn't work on a sage, regular genjutsu. However, this is a Senjutsu enhanced genjutsu and as such, affects you, said Jiraiya as he positioned the sword over Orochimaru's heart. I'd love to continue this chat Orochimaru, but this is long overdue and there's no need for more words. I beat you. And now, you're dead. Goodbye old friend. No. This can't be. I've done everything. I'm immortal. I can't perish here, shouted Orochimaru in his mind as the sword above him began its descent. Naruto and Sasuke vs Kushina and Mikado, the Kurama avatar was headed toward the yellow Susanoo as the four figures inside prepared to clash. The chakra constructs locked hands as Naruto held the ram seal. I know how to deal with Susanoo. Makuten, Mokuri no Jutsu, wood style, wood dragon technique, said Naruto as a large wooden dragon appeared from the ground and surrounded Mikado's Susanoo, immobilizing it in the process. As that happened, Sasuke jumped out of the chakra construct as Naruto put his hands in the snake seal. Kaden, Gokumeshitsu, fire style, great flame destruction, said Sasuke as his chest puffed up in preparation for his jutsu. Mikoto shook her head at Sasuke's attempt. This is Susanoo Sasuke-chan. Despite being weakened by this dragon, you won't be able to get through this with that fire jutsu. You'll need something better, thought Mikoto as she felt the ground beneath her and Kushina's feet rumble slightly. Kushina jumped away immediately to dodge, but Mikoto could not get out of the way in time. A branch came flying out of the ground as it latched around her arm tightly. Mikoto was flung out of the safety of her Susanoo as Sasuke let his jutsu fly. The stream of fire came out extremely fast as it neared the defenseless Mikoto. Just as it neared her, Kushina appeared as she put her hands in the ram seal. A seal spread out on the ground before her as Sasuke's jutsu was drawn to it and promptly sealed within the ground. Fukahoin, fire sealing method, said the Kyuubi-cloaked Kushina as the seal turned black once Sasuke's jutsu was finished. Kushina then put her hands in the tiger seal. Kai, release. The seal that absorbed Sasuke's jutsu glowed red as the fire stream that once came from Sasuke was now headed back toward the Uchiha. Sasuke never moved as Naruto appeared next to him in a sunshine. Makuten, Hobi no Jutsu, wood style, wood expulsion technique, said Naruto as a large, dragon head made of wood rose from the ground and enclosed Sasuke and Naruto within to shield them from the fire. Once the fire died down, the dragon's head split back open and shifted back into the ground as Naruto was seen still holding the snake seal. Seems Naruto is done playing around. He's using jutsu after jutsu. I can barely keep up, said Mikoto as Kushina nodded her head in agreement. Here comes another one. Makuten, Jukai Katan, wood style, nativity of a sea of trees, said Naruto as behind him a torrent of trees sprang forth from the ground as they headed toward Kushina and Mikoto. The two mothers began to dodge the continuous waves of trees as they eventually landed on one once they stopped. Sasuke and Naruto both appeared in front of their own mother as they began a fast-paced taijutsu battle. Sasuke lashed out with a punch at Mikoto as she dodged the first strike but couldn't stop the next punch or kick that booted her away. Sasuke looked down at his chakra-enhanced body. "This chakra from Naruto's Baijuwu makes me incredibly fast and strong," said Sasuke with a noticeable smirk as he headed off into the trees to find his mother and finish this fight. Naruto appeared in front of his mother as she lashed out with a punch expecting his arrival. Naruto caught the punch in his palm as just like before one of Kushina's chakra chains appeared from behind her and headed toward him. Right before hitting Naruto, a branch grew from the tree they were standing on to block the fast chakra chain. Kushina smiled at her son, realizing that he was showing his full potential as two more Narutos appeared on either side of him. The second Naruto planted a firm punch into the stomach of Kushina as the first Naruto performed a leg sweep to knock the hunched-over Kushina into the air. The third Naruto grabbed one of Kushina's legs as he tossed her violently through several of his own trees. Naruto then headed after his mother with the two clones running right next to him. He was prepared to finish his fight as well. With Sasuke found his mother getting up from the earlier kick. Mikoto was getting up, flowing through hand seals as she ended with a tiger seal. Kaden, Ryu and Hoka no Jutsu, Fire Style, Dragon Flame Song Technique, said Mikoto as she sent out several large fire dragons at Sasuke. Sasuke sparked with lightning to respond. Chidori Ngashi, Chidori Current, said Sasuke as lightning sparked around him that deflected the large dragons headed toward him. Sasuke never stopped his attack as he continued toward Mikoto. Just before getting to her, Sasuke was halted from actually hitting her. "Tsukiyomi, Moon Reader," said Mikoto, placing Sasuke under her Mangekyo-enhanced genjutsu. Sasuke fell unceremoniously on the ground behind Mikoto as she breathed out a sigh, not thankful that she stopped him but saddened that she was able to get him. "I'm sorry, Ka-chan," said Sasuke, getting Mikoto's eyes to widen. Sasuke pierced Mikoto through the heart with a Chidori as she was now paralyzed and began to decay slightly from the powerful strike. "I can't let you stay alive for any longer." "It's okay, my baby boy," said Mikoto, turning to see Sasuke's Mangekyo Sharingan. That was how he escaped her genjutsu so easily. "Before you seal me, I'm sure you want to know about what happened the night of the massacre." Sasuke's eyes widened. "What? I already know what happened. Itachi probably won't tell you because it was an S-rank mission and he has some type of plan. However, I have no such restriction and I feel you need to know. And I want to hear your answer." With Naruto found his mother recovering from his last attack as he approached her. Kushina saw her son coming and attempted to lash out with a punch, only for one of Naruto's clones to grab that arm. Kushina attempted with the other, only for it to be halted as well by Naruto's second clone. "It is over, Ka-chan," said Naruto, causing his tree to open slightly. Kushina sunk knee-deep into the sturdy wood before it locked her in place. Naruto's clones then morphed into the tree, becoming branches, as they held Kushina's arms down. The Kyuubi chakra shroud surrounding Kushina was absorbed as Kushina was left helpless against her son. "My sweet baby," said Kushina as Naruto let his Jinchuriki cloak disappear, realizing all he had to do now was seal his mother. "I don't know what to say. So, I'll just leave you with this. I'm so glad you grew up into a healthy young man. I'm happy that you have a friend like Sasuke, and I'm sure you, if you have found one, have found a girl just like your mother. And finally, I'm happy that you were born to me and Minato that day. You're everything we could have hoped for and more. I love you." A few tears began to glisten in Naruto's eyes as he wiped them away before they could actually fall. "You're right. I have grown up well. Mainly thanks to Sandaime Jiji. Even Jiraiya-sensei and Tsunade Bakken have helped. And you're right, I did make good friends, great friends really. And there is a girl whom I am smitten with. I even told her I loved her. And don't worry, she's just as headstrong as you are. I wish you two could have met. I'm sure you'd have liked her." Kushina smiled at her son with tears forming in her violet eyes. "So you don't blame us for anything? I could have let Minato live. You would have had a father, but I started Kushina beforehand from Naruto stopped her. "There's no need, Ka-chan. We can't change the past, nor should we want to. I'm happy. I'm happy to know I was loved by my parents. And I now know it for sure. I may have never gotten to meet you when I was little, but I always pictured you being this beautiful and amazing. You are my mother and I love you too." The once black clear eye in Kushina's eyes turned back into normal clear eye as her body glowed. Naruto realized that her Edo Tensei was ending and freed his mother. As she was freed, Kushina stood and walked over to her son. She grabbed him in a hug as her body continued to glow. "Thank you. Thank you for being born to us. Thank you for allowing me to be your mother and Minato to be your father. Stay safe, Naruto-chan," said Kushina as her soul began to ascend from the body it was attached to. "And I expect a ton of grandkids, Bane. Naruto blushed a serious shade of red as Kushina's soul finally vanished. Naruto smiled as he placed a hand on the tree he was standing on. Naruto forced all of his trees to recede into the ground as Naruto could now make out Mikado's body disappearing the same way as his mother did right in front of Sasuke. Naruto vanished in a sunshine to appear by his best friend. "You okay?" questioned Naruto, placing a hand on Sasuke's shoulder. "Yeah, just need a moment." "Naruto, do you feel that other presence in the room with Jiraiya?" asked Kurama as Naruto took a moment to notice 4 chakra signatures in the room. That's Jiraiya-sensei. Pa and Ma are there. Plus, who's that?" "That's not Orochimaru," thought Naruto in return as Kurama replied. "It's him," said Kurama as Naruto's eyes widened. Naruto's Jinchuriki cloak came back immediately as he vanished in a sunshine, leaving Sasuke in the room by himself. With Jiraiya, "So, you're who again?" questioned Jiraiya as he looked at a man in an Akatsuki cloak with an orange mask covering his face. "Hi, I'm Tobi," said the masked man in a childish tone as he looked at Jiraiya. "Hello, so, why are you here?" questioned Jiraiya again as Fukasaku and Shima were still attached to his shoulders. Tobi was about to answer before Naruto appeared above Tobi with a Rasengan twice as big as himself. Naruto let the Rasengan detonate as a huge explosion of energy occurred that completely covered Naruto and Tobi from Jiraiya. "Damn! Hey kid, you didn't whack Jiraiya," grew another knot on his head from Shima hitting him. "What did I tell you about that language, Jiraiya-chan?" said Shima as Jiraiya nodded his head. The explosion from the Rasengan died down as Naruto was standing there all alone. "Naruto, that was so fast? I've never seen you like this," said Jiraiya as Naruto closed his eyes to focus on his sensing ability. Naruto turned his head abruptly to the left as he saw Tobi sliding up through the floorboards. "That was so fast, Naruto-kun. You almost hit Tobi with that jutsu." "Luckily Tobi slipped and managed to evade," said Tobi, making childish-like movements as he talked in that same childlike voice. "Who the hell is this guy? He acts like such a kid," said Jiraiya as Naruto shook his head no. Sasuke came into view beside Naruto as he wondered the same thing. "No, he's the progenitor of all of this. The reason why the Kyuubi attacked the night of my birth. The reason my parents died that night," said Naruto as the next part made Sasuke react in almost the same way as Naruto. "And the reason the Uchihas were subjected to scrutiny, leading to their want for a coup, leading to their inevitable demise. He is the reason for all of this." Tobi immediately stopped acting like a child as his voice deepened considerably. "How smart of you, Kyuubi. I'm impressed. Did that pet of a Baijuo tell you that?" "Madara!" shouted Kurama angrily in Naruto's head as Naruto was being funneled with chakra from the angry Baijuo. Naruto's cloak turned more orange and began to crack the ground around him as he continued to look at Tobi. "He did all of this, Naruto?" questioned Sasuke as Naruto nodded without turning his eyes off of Tobi. Sasuke then noticed that Orochimaru laid on the ground a few feet away with a large stone sword stabbed through his chest. "Were you here to save him?" "Something like that. But then I remembered his betrayal against me and had a change of heart," said Tobi as he looked at Naruto. "Plus, I was hoping he'd be injured enough so I could take him and extract his Baijuo. However, that didn't pan out, I see. Well, if you want my Baijuo then fight me for it. Right now," said Naruto as his eyes were now red and slit due to the influx of Kurama's chakra at the moment. "Don't worry, Kyuubi. We shall meet again. However, I'll let one of my pawns deal with you. Until then, enjoy the little bit of time you have left in this world," said Tobi with an increasingly ominous voice as he seemed to disappear in a vortex. "Naruto," said Jiraiya as he could feel the unbridled power being brought forth by his student. "Calm down." Naruto's chakra output began to stifle slightly as his eyes turned back to normal and his cloak began to disappear. Naruto then turned his eyes toward his sensei. "Let's go home. I need Yugi-chan," said Naruto as he began to walk out of the base of Orochimaru's. Sasuke followed behind as Jiraiya stood still in the room alone with the dead body of Orochimaru. Jiraiya looked at Orochimaru's body once more as Fukasaku and Shima disappeared in puffs of smoke. Jiraiya's sage mode disappeared as he pulled out a scroll to seal his old friend's body into. Jiraiya followed after his student as he wanted to make sure he was okay. He'd never seen Naruto like this before. "I see why Naruto was so angry. That guy killed his parents," said Jiraiya as he continued to catch up to his student. Unknown location, rain poured outside at a fast rate as a man stood there alone watching over what appeared to be a city. The man had red, shoulder-length hair and rippled purple eyes. This man was the leader of the Akatsuki. "Nagato," said the masked man as he appeared in a swirl behind the leader. "The Kyuubi Jinchuriki is more powerful than before. Are you sure you can handle this?" Nagato's turned his head to look toward the masked man as his eyes seem to glow. Once we capture 6, 7, and 8. I will handle that boy. No matter where he is. I'm more powerful as well, said Nagato as 6 figures came into view behind him. The figures all looked different except they all had orange hair and matching rippled purple eyes. We shall see, Nagato. Our plan will soon become real.
That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.